Good morning again. It's April 24th, Sunday. We're going to continue on with another Bible study. Genesis chapter 9. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. So it's kind of like the beginning of Genesis again. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moves upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand they are delivered. This second verse is very important because prior to this, it doesn't appear that the animals were afraid of man. It also appears as though men probably ate herb and vegetable rather than meat. And probably the first bloodshed in the garden was when Yahweh slew the animals to make skins for his son and his daughter, for Adam and for Eve. And by the way, those garments show up later in the story. Those are very important garments. So we'll continue. Verse 3. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things. So now they're going to be eating the flesh of the animals and the fishes and the fowls. However, verse 4, very important verse. But the flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall you not eat. New commandment. So in other words, you've got to drain the blood out. I don't know about eating gravy after reading this. Put your comments down below. I mean, I kind of like gravy, but if it's not allowed, it's not allowed. And by the way, these people that are doing weird satanic crap to the kids, blood stuff, bloodletting, drinking blood, all that stuff, they're in violation of the law right here. As far as I'm concerned, I'd kind of like to see them, their blood's on their heads. Verse 5. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of a man. So here's the sentence. If you violate this command, I read it that way. It's proximate to verse 4. So if you're going to break that law, then he's going to require your blood. Also, it's interesting that at the hand of every beast I will require it, the hand of every man, and all that. I wonder if this is where animals might get a claim to judge us in the afterlife. That is alluded to in other parts of the Bible, by the way, and that is out there. I admit that, but it's one of those things we must be open-minded to. Verse 6: Whoever sheds man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man. Well, okay, it's real simple. This predates the Ten Commandments, and this is the law. This is the cause, and this is the effect. These are the natural consequences. If you shed blood, then your blood will be shed. Verse 7: And you, be you fruitful and multiply. Bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein. And God spoke to Noah and to his sons, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there be any more be a flood to destroy the earth. I take issue with this verse right here. And I take issue because I believe that the end of the earth age can involve flooding. I think that when we look at places like Baalbek, that old ruins, if you will, in Lebanon, that you can see evidence of the superior civilizations of the past and of the floods of the past that separate those ages. We have so much to learn and so much research to be done that you boys and your children are going to have plenty of work with history and real science, natural science, not this political stuff we have going on today that's worse than a waste of time. But it says here, God's not going to be destroying the earth by flood again, but yet in my dream, which I have never shared with you yet, we get waters, mud, dirt, and everything rolling across the earth. And it just devastates the people on the surface of the planet. That's what I think is coming. That's what my night terrors when I was a little boy were about. So there you have it. And God said, "This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations." Forever, basically. "I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a token of a covenant between me and the earth." So, we have a rainbow. This is a new thing. It's not like, well, we're going to make this suddenly have this meaning. There probably were no rainbows prior to this. There wasn't any rain prior to this. So now we've got the establishment of rain as well on the planet. So the Garden of Eden has changed drastically. "And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, and that the bow," the rainbow, "shall be seen in the cloud." Doesn't say rainbow, by the way, but that's what we're taking it to be. "And I remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh." Don't know about that. "And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth." And God said to Noah, "This is a token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth." And the sons of Noah went forth from the ark. That went forth from the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth, and Ham is the father of Canaan. Now, why is Canaan mentioned? Canaan. "These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread." It says that, so most people will take this as being literally the entire world being flooded. "And Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard." So he's taking care of the earth. He's taking care of vineyards. I think that means he's taking care of his wife as well. "And he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent." We don't know what that means just yet. "And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brothers outside. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders, and walked backwards, and covered the nakedness of their father, and their faces were in the other direction, backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness." That was important, not to violate that law. "And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done to him." Well, it's not specified in here, so we're gonna do a little brainstorming. "And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, Blessed be Yahweh, God of Shem, the oldest son, and Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years, and all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died." So he's still got longevity. And remember earlier, it was 120 years. Now, those verses may be out of order. I don't know. That's been speculated by some folks. The nakedness of his father. We don't know exactly what Canaan did. We know that nakedness of his father could be his own father's naked body, or it could be his father's wife's naked body. It's also been speculated by some people that aren't really Bible readers that it was a homosexual act that Canaan performed upon his grandfather. Uh, that's not very well supported in here, from what I can tell. I think that when I sat there with friends and we brainwashed this, we came up with the oldest and wisest of us. Well, he wasn't the oldest, but he was the wisest. Believed that it was not a homosexual act committed on Noah, but it was seeing his wife's nakedness. It could have been having sex with his grandmother too. With it, that could have been what it was. However, he was naked. Now, maybe he just saw his nakedness, because the word is that those two garments, that the garment of Adam, which we believe that Noah was wearing while he was having his ceremony to the wine that he had finally raised, whatever you want to call it, made. So it may just be that Canaan went in and stole those skin garments that God made for Adam and Eve and took those. We just don't know. And there was some speculation. The word was that when wearing those garments, they made one invisible. They were considered to have special powers. So one could be quite a hunter if one was invisible or camouflaged. And interesting is that blessed be Yahweh, God of Shem. Shem is the line that the promise came down through, that the blessings came down through. That's very important. And as far as Japheth, he did go across the world quite a bit, and he sowed his seed around, and we believe that Japheth is the father to the Japanese. And the Japanese are very proud of their phenotype, and they're trying to keep it the way it is. They like it the way it is. Well, there's other stories about Canaan that are pretty important. I don't think I really want to cover those, but I probably will. Let me think just a minute here. If we want to look at it, I think an important thing is to realize that here we have the man after which the land of Canaan is named. So we know that the promised land will be called the land of Canaan for a reason. And that's an important thing. And it was cursed. And who knows if... And the other thing is, if Ham, I may have said this wrong earlier, but if Ham is the one that did the transgression, if he's the one that broke the law, why is it that his son is cursed and not the father? So that's an interesting thing as well. So we have more questions after reading this chapter than what we went into it with. There's just some interesting observations. I'm going to call it at this and move on.